Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good. So, let's start with today's analysis for the markets. I'll just bring up the Nifty screen. Just a minute. Yeah. So, here's the Nifty 5 minutes chart. There's a spot on the left and futures on the right. So, futures on the right because we can see the volumes also. So, like we discussed yesterday, 15,700 was a good resistance point psychologically and also as per the OI stats. On the lower side, we did see that 15,520 was a good support level, but the gap up did sustain in the morning for quite a while and it was right above 15,600 itself completely. And yesterday's low was also just 15,611. So we did really sustain 15,600 levels where if the gap up wouldn't have happened, 15,600 was a good resistance point, but the gap up really brought up the call writers to its feet and they had to cover their positions and they had to shift their positions from 15,600 to 700 and 750 slowly. And that's what happened during the day yesterday completely. And till yesterday noon, we were in a range bound market of 15,000. Just say 15,630 is one, and 15,678 is another level. So we were completely in a range bound mode of 50 points for Nifty, and if you see the volumes also on the right side, there were really no volumes. So let me just this was what happened completely, no volumes at all if you see. So yeah, that's how yesterday was completely. Let me just delete this. Right. So post that in the second half, we did witness quite a down move and then a reversal from the downside, a good way. And there was a decent bounce at 3 o'clock. That's like an expiry move, but there was not much. It was just 30 odd points, which gave a jump, and then it just struggled over there to cross 15,700. It spiked over to 15,709, so 15,705, but then again it came back down to 15,690. So although we did close below 15,700, but we have formed a decent base for today and the coming days. So I if we see on this part of Nifty, for today we are expecting a slightly gap down, but we do have good supports at down on the downside. So let's just see where all we have supports. One is to fill yesterday's gap, that's day before yesterday's gap, that would be 15,590 odd levels, and that would mean it is like 100 points below the yesterday's closing. So that's a point to note. And also we could actually witness a volatile day today, since yesterday was slightly a range bound day and it was a very silent expiry, to be honest. So that's a short note on Nifty from my end. So if we jot down the supports and resistance, so supports on the downside would be 15,590 and 15,600, followed by 15,470 levels. Then on the upside, we have the resistance at 15,700, right at yesterday's high or approximately, and again at 15,800 levels. So that's on the upside, and this is how we are going to see uh, the day most likely. And let's see the OI stats, what do they stand out as. Also this is on Nifty SGX future, so let's just refresh the SGX. It's slightly down from yesterday's close, it's just by 25 odd points, but then we are going to open around these levels somewhere. So we need to wait for the first 15 minutes, half an hour, to actually see where the trend might go, because unless otherwise you wouldn't really get a move to catch. So that's on SGX front. Let's see the OI stats also. So if we see OI stats, there's decent call writing that has been added at 15,700 levels for the next week, although today is the first day of the weekly expiry starting, so this data won't be accurate completely. So let's just wait and see where we stand. But on a plain side, what we can see is 15,700 as per OI stands as good resistance, and on downside 15,600 is a good support based on put writing, 15,600 and 15,500, which are heavily written. So we have supports and resistance at every 100 points odd right now. So unless there's a good volume move, it's going to be completely a range bound day again. But like I mentioned in the beginning, since yesterday was also a range bound day and we are heading towards the weekend, because people will tend to close couple of the positions, and we might expect a slightly volatile day. So that's on Nifty's front. Let's come back to Bank Nifty and see what's the so Bank Nifty, right? So this is Bank Nifty spot and this is Bank Nifty futures. Let me just add up futures. So this is Bank Nifty futures. So if we see, yesterday was a day where Nifty and Bank Nifty were almost in the same trend. So they did start on a gap up node, which then moved to a range bound day completely, and then followed by a down spike, and then it followed by the upward move towards the end. And at 3 o'clock, we did see a sharp up move, and then again it struggled back to its zone. So Bank Nifty also played yesterday just like Nifty. So on Bank Nifty levels, we have supports at 35,500 zones and on spot, and on resistance 35,750 still becomes a resistance, like what we discussed yesterday. That's, to be honest, 35,745 zone. And on upside, again the resistance moves at 36,000 and 36,200 levels. So those are the resistance and supports for Bank Nifty. And let's also see the OI stats where we stand for Bank Nifty. So Bank Nifty, let me just bring up the OI stats. This is the OI stats for Bank Nifty, and as we see 36,000 has and as we see 36,000 has a heavy call writing, so that is going to act as a good resistance for Bank Nifty. And on lower side 35,500, there's heavy call writing as well as put writing, almost on a 1:1 ratio. So we might witness a fight over there in case it's going to slide down. But more or less 35,500 is now a good resistance unless there's a break with volume. So that's a short note on Bank Nifty, and I will also be showing my yesterday's trade, which really didn't go as per the plan, and I had to book the loss basically of 2k approximately, like we discussed in the morning yesterday. That's the max hit that could happen if it was traded carefully, or if I was on the screen for the entire day, probably I would have closed it in the green, but I wasn't really on the screen. So yes, I will be analyzing that trade also shortly. And so as promised, this is my live trade from yesterday. We did end up in a loss basically, although the move was there on the futures front, but I couldn't close my position on the put option front early. So if the move continued and if the closing was about 35,800, 35,900, or significantly 100 point more, I would have been closing it at profit levels. But yeah, it's part of the game, and yesterday we did have to book the loss. So yeah, that's on that front, but it was a limited thing, although there was a significant move on the upside and there was volatility, I mean range bound volatility during the day. We did end up in a very minimal loss, and that's completely acceptable when you have to, it's basically calculated risk. So yeah, that's on the live position part. Thank you. That's a short note on Nifty and Bank Nifty friend. So yes, these are the things for the day, and please let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go hit the subscribe button and like the video and share it across. Thanks a lot for following me, and keep tuned for further updates. Thank you.